The number 4 existed before humans and would exist if humans disappeared, and it would still exist even if the universe collapsed tomorrow. At least, that's what mathematical Platonism says. And once you take it to its extreme, math starts to feel realer than reality itself. Mathematical Platonism is the view that numbers, sets, and mathematical structures are real, mind-independent, and abstract. They don't exist in space, they don't exist in time, they don't cause anything, but they exist objectively. When we say there are infinitely many prime numbers, we're not expressing a convention or a useful fiction. We're describing a fact about an abstract realm that exists whether or not anyone ever notices it. Think about the contrast. The physical world changes. Mountains erode, stars burn out. Everything is contingent. The mathematical truths don't decay. 2 plus 2 will always be 4. There will always be infinitely many primes. No possible future could make those false. So, Platonists say, mathematics isn't just reliable, it's necessary. Reality bends, math doesn't. One reason Platonism is tempting is how well math works in science. Physics doesn't just use math as a tool, it depends on it. Remove mathematics and our best theories collapse. Platonists argue that the best explanation is literal truth. Electrons exist, numbers exist. Different kinds of things, same kind of commitment. If science tells us electrons are real because they explain the world, then why not numbers, which explain science itself? There's also a linguistic problem. When we say 7 is prime, that sentence is either true or false. And if it's true, what makes it true? Philosophers like Frege and Quine argued that truth requires objects to be about. So, if mathematical sentences are true, then numbers must exist as their truth makers. Otherwise, math starts to look like a miracle that somehow works without referring to anything at all. This is where things get dangerous. Paul Benacerraf pointed out a fatal tension. If numbers are abstract and casually inert, and if human knowledge requires some kind of causal connection, then how do we know anything about numbers? You've never seen the number 4, it's never affected you, it doesn't interact with your brain. So how did your beliefs about math ever end up with this abstract realm? Platonism gives us truth, but at the cost of mystery. Benacerraf also noticed something stranger. You can define numbers using sets, but there are many equally valid ways to do it. So what set is the number 3? None uniquely. This leads some philosophers to soften Platonism into structuralism. Maybe numbers aren't objects at all, but positions in a structure, like roles in a pattern that can be realized in many systems. Others reject Platonism entirely. Nominalists say math is a useful fiction. Some, like Hardy Field, try to rewrite science without numbers at all. But these approaches often become incredibly complex, and still struggle to explain why math feels so objective, universal, and unavoidable. So here's the tension. Platonism makes math feel eternal, necessary, and more stable than reality itself. But it leaves us wondering how finite creatures like us could ever glimpse such a realm. Maybe math really is the deepest layer of reality, or maybe its power comes from something even stranger. Either way, once you notice the problem, numbers never look the same ever again.